Alright, here we go with another Judge Dredd battle report. This time, we're going to try out and see how well the game works with 3 players. We're still using a fairly basic scenario of keep shooting them until they run away, and we'll see how we go. So, here we are. Here's my Apocalypse War squad. I've got a couple of judges who we can see taking cover behind the building. One's hiding behind a rubbish receptacle, and one's taking a slightly more noble looking stance, hiding behind the sign. I've also got a city defence trooper and a punk with rifle and another punk with rifle. So the rationale behind taking a city defence, an Apocalypse War squad over Justice Department forces, one, because martial law has been declared, your judges don't have to make arrest checks first and you can just shoot people. The other main advantage is you get some other models, so you get to have some people with rifles to provide some long range firepower, and you get a slightly wider model selection. The drawback, the models you do get from each of the different force lists are kind of like all the basic options, so you just get a basic city defence trooper. You don't get any of the options around city defence heavy weapon troopers and the like. So we'll see how we go. Here's my last city defence trooper with last punk with rifle, standing down behind the abandoned hover car. Right, here we've got Grant's insane clown posse, bunch of thugs, a bunch of nasty works there with a variety of things. One of the guys does have a flamethrower, which makes him fairly near the top of the you need to die list. Alright, and here's Al's gang. Need to get some more paint on these models, Al. But here they come, already scuttling through the ruins, and one of them's deciding to investigate the abandoned car to see if there's anything worth looting. And yep, you can see there's the man formerly known as Big Dave with his heavy stubber. It's a pretty intimidating guy, so we'll see how he goes. Okay, here's the gangs all moving forward. You can see one of the judges taking points, supported by the city defence trooper and one of the punks. And here's another view. Look, you can see my guys already run back round behind those crates to get away from the guy with the heavy stubber, because a fairly simple bolt action rifle with a guy with a portable minigun, it's not going to be a fair fight, so why do it? Oh wow, really blurry picture. You can just about make out more of our street gang running forward. And here's Grant's insane clown posse lurching forward slowly and carefully. And right, here we have the first violence of the game. Now, the background pitch so far had been with the insane clown posse telling the criminal war boys that they wouldn't shoot them and they were all here to shoot the police, which of course was not fantastic news for me. And then look, they lure the war boys into the middle between the two other forces, and then treacherously open fire at them in the back. So here we can see the first shot being laid down at one of Al's gangsters, who thought he was safe behind the car, but in fact isn't. Don't think that one hit. Here we can see, oh yes, my city defence trooper draws line of sight on the guy with the flamethrower, lets rip a long burst with his stub gun, promptly runs out of ammunition, but fortunately takes him out of action. This leaves me with a city defence trooper with no range capability whatsoever. and there he is, leading the way. So yeah, somehow I managed to get myself into a tactical position where my guys with rifles are leading the way and my guys with short range weapons are kind of not taking point, but never mind. Here's my punk with rifle down at the bottom. He's relocated to a different position to get further away and follow up behind the advancing forces. And ouch, here's my supporting punk. She gets nailed by one of the Insane Clown posse and she falls down, and as we'll see after the game, at this point she's actually dead. I think it was a sucking chest wound or something like that. Bam, she's out of it. And then, lo and behold, the Insane Clown posse shoot one of the supporting criminal gang punks who was a bit too slow to get cover, and using a spit gun, the poor teenage punk is blown over the pile of rubble with a large shotgun blast to the back, and I think he ends up seriously injured. You can see there the two gangers have now established a covered position on the other side of the car, away from the people who they thought were their friends, but in fact aren't. Never trust a criminal. Right. Here we can see the picture now with poor gangster Zog having been removed from the game. And there's a bit more firing going on there. I don't think that was effective. Maybe that ganger took a wound out of that. And here we can see one of Al's Juves runs back to another position and finds himself lit up by my guy who's standing under the bridge there, and I crack off a shot, pop around the corner, I crack off a shot with my rifle. Don't manage to win because the little ganger punk manages to duck behind the rocks before I can fully shoot him. Didn't roll high enough, but never mind. I'm pleading more where that came from. And here you can see what turns out to be Al's blitzer sneaking up the stairs towards the building, towards my judge. At this point I think my judge goes on to alert, just in case anything comes anywhere near him, which is likely to happen. Okay, and here's one of my judges. He's moving forward, and there's my city defence trooper supporting the other judge. City defence trooper's kind of moving up to block out that advancing blitzer. And here you can see an overall picture of my force, kind of holding my own at this point. Both criminal gangs have suffered more casualties, and I've still got two fairly powerful judges and a supporting guy, even though one of my models has no gun. Wow. Blurry shot showing the Insane Clown posse running up between the containers. Let's see about that one better. Worst shot. Right. Slightly blurry picture of the dramatic moment of the game. So Al's blitzer ran up the stairs, ran across the top of the building, and then leapt down onto my judge in close combat. Now, because I was on alert, I could have taken an action when he finished his first action, because that's what alert allows you to do. But if I just moved backwards away from out of charge range, he could have just shot me. Although, having said that, that might not have been a better move. So at this point, his blitzer lands on my judge and engages him in a vicious hand-to-hand combat, and it turns out to be dice stick versus axe. I lose twice, or in fact lose 4 times, get wounded twice after making 2 armour saves, and normally I'd have been taken out of action at this point, but this judge turned out to be an Academy star and I'd wisely bought him a 3rd wound. So at this point I'm facing a blitzer who's a drugged up kind of combat specialist ganger, and I'm got a badly battered judge. So what do we do to get out of this? Well, you'll see here Al's blitzer knocks me backwards 2 inches up against the edge of the wall. Now, next, there's some more movement and scattering, but you'll notice that little Zog, the punk, he hasn't actually moved. He's still worried about he's still looking the other way towards the other street gang, and that's going to come in a minute. And yep, here he is. He runs towards the bottom of the stairs, looking to take cover from the stairs. And there you can see, unfortunately, you can see on the other side, our heavy machine gun equipped ganger is lurking up on that side of the building. So it's not going to go well. Now, in one of the most cinematic moments of the game, my heroic city defense trooper turns around, charges the blitzer, body blocks him, and wins the combat and knocks him back 2 inches, wisely deciding to not follow up. This moves him out of contact with my judge, who promptly turns around and says, right, the sentence for assaulting a judge, death. Shoots him, takes him out of action. He then turns around 180 degrees and shoots one of the insane clown posse with his second action. Yay for judgment. And here you can see that poor little ganger Zog is still within perfect line of sight of my guy with a rifle, who hadn't moved, promptly shoots him twice and takes him out of action. And here's one of my judges shooting at one of the gangers. At this point, he'd taken a wound and wasn't feeling very happy, and my other judge there is also on his last wound. And with his first action, the ganger fires back and takes that judge out of action, and with the second action, he takes that judge out of action. So that guy's on the fast track to promotion in that gang. So this leaves me at this point with one guy with a rifle and a city defense trooper with no gun. Excellent. And now I'm being hunted by a guy with a heavy machine gun. Excellent. Tactical situation, fluid. So here's me trying to make a break for the containers down towards the remnants of the insane clown posse. Still avoiding heavy machine gun fire. And there's another burst of fire between the insane clown posse and Al's criminal gang. And there's Al's heavy machine gunner trying to shoot my punk with rifle in the back. I won that one, so 4 heavy machine gun shots missed, fortunately. Ow! And at this point we're getting down to it. I've got 2 models left.